him in this battle to keep cars and space between him and the pursuing Cadillacs.
And there, look, Hypercars getting past traffic, but also in the middle of all of that, you've got Chris Froggatt trying to battle against that Mercedes. Lukas Stolz is the Mercedes AMG driver. Look at the background, you've got silver Mercedes, orange and white Ferrari side by side. Lukas Stolz on the inside, they're going to carry on battling all the way down the Mulsanne straight. The two Cadillacs have got themselves together, Stevens and Bamber nose to tail. So right now, down through that first chicane, it is an...
Great, but maybe they compromise on the aero and losing a little bit out on that sector 3.
But look at the Porsche, number 6 car also going round the outside the 50 car. Can he make it through that tricky turn 1? He's going to have to go the long way round. As he does, the Ferrari is right with him, still there. The spotter would be screaming at this point, but the Porsche makes it through.
Yes, it does. Continued to slug it out for supremacy. Rain came and went, drizzle and then more rain. Wet weather tyres were going to be required to finish this one in one piece. After 22 hours, we were still no closer to knowing which of the top 9 cars overall was going to win. At times, Ferrari seemed to have the upper hand, but then the number 7 Toyotas. The French cars had real pace. Despite the odd look with no rear wing, their ground effect was working well on the track as Porsche's privateer and factory teams battled. And then disaster. Yiffy Yi in the Hertz Team Jota car, building up a 10-second advantage, crashed heavily, ironically, in the Porsche curves. He was only a kilometre or 2 from the pit lane and managed to drag the wreckage back. But the run of the first Porsche in
Mercedes AMG driver, look at the background, you've got silver Mercedes, orange and white Ferrari side by side. Lukas Stolz on the inside, they're going to carry on battling all the way down the Mulsanne straight. The two Cadillacs have got themselves together, Stevens and Bamber nose to tail. So right now, down through that first chicane, it is an incredibly busy racetrack, and if you're in the GT class trying to have your own battle, the last thing you need is a hypercar come whizzing by. You've got to be so sharp here, Peter.
So that's Ben
Past the lead here, past the lead for the Lexus. The Lexus has lit this race, back to the lead it goes.
Well, like Jose Maria Lopez was saying, the car has got speed. We've seen that with the Lexus all the way through this week so far.
Trouble seal, it's the 7.
Oh dear.
Right, that was blocked, but that then caused a little bit of reduction in the straight line over to the curb for Ryo Hirakawa. Didn't manage to get up the inside, and it was the Ferrari that managed to hold the inside line.
Irani in the number 47 CLX car is already working his way through the order in car number 47.
Yeah, Francesco Simonazzi just shuffled behind, and there goes the M Racing car, spins right across the field, almost takes out the 88. Tim Kresick, I think, aboard that car does a...
And here comes Martin Berry with the forward momentum in 4th place, but in the draft of the Aston Martin, Celia Martin looking the more likely to get back in front of Matter.
She's going to go straight away, and I think she's going to make it back again.
Play of the start of the race, you saw Roger Federer wave them away, but as the two Cadillacs were busy squabbling round the outside, went Julian Andlauer, and he got track position then going into the first of the Dunlop S's, and look, so much better off the corner to go around the outside there.
Yeah, just tyres immediately there for him, and we've not seen...
Contact!
Yeah, contact front to rear.
Habsburg hit the back of the number 8 car, and is that a left rear puncture? It is. That is a left rear puncture. Instant puncture from that contact. Toyota once more had the lead, but Giovanardi was on the attack. And within a couple of laps, he was making a bold pass around the outside to retake the advantage. There was little to choose in terms of passion or speed between these two riders.
To make the move, and does so.
Late on the brakes, wasn't he there, diving into the corner. Phil Hansen at the wheel of 83, the bright yellow Ferrari. And there, look, you've got the battle going on between number 99, Neil Jani at the wheel, and the Aston Martins. There, look, you've got Porsche number 5 then in the middle of the traffic. That's Julian Andlauer, the race leader, trying to wriggle his way through the forward chicane. You want to clear that traffic as quickly as you can.
Trouble for the Aston Martin and Marco Sorensen. The door is open, the wind holding it up, and the flight of the Valkyrie's door. It's come off. He was coming back to the pits rather too quickly.
10 hours, 17 minutes and change have been completed. And Kevin Estre leads in this triple stint that he's done in number 6.
Yellow's at Marshall's post 30, debris at Marshall post 6, left-hand side. Let's have a look and see what's going on around the circuit right now. So it is the Porsche curves. I think it is the 46.
Mercedes.
Move wasn't on for me from Martin Berry. Mike Wainwright didn't necessarily know he was there, but as I say, it was then that secondary contact as the GR Ferrari came backwards across the road. Martin Berry almost stopping dead as that contact was made, and then of course the Ferrari.
Here is the lead battle coming through traffic. Opportunities hit.
Absolute madness down towards Tora Vit, because this is the first time that the leading gaggle are going to have to catch traffic, and the problem is that the GT3, the LMP...
Rattle their way then for the first time down through the Dunlop S's. Cadillac leads Le Mans, Porsche goes second. The flag is waved at the LMP2, and then the GT3 cars. Aston Martin leading, BMW leading, Ferrari leading, Mercedes AMG in the LMGT3 class. That's some pretty feisty racing for the first few corners, Graham.
Well, it certainly was. I think a bit of contact there in the middle of the pack, or towards the back of the pack in Hypercar. One of the Peugeots, I think, involved in that. We'll catch up with that.
Scenario that we've just seen into turn 10, very tricky for everyone to be able to navigate through that.
Yeah, and there again, that's where the 60 car spun, and you see everybody go, whoa! Bringing out another safety car period. Over the wet curbs, into the tyre wall, and a gentle roll onto the roof. Fortunately, as in all the other incidents, the driver was A-OK. But once more, the safety car was out for clear up. And when you ride on board, you can understand why. 5,000 eager fans. A front row lockout for Ferrari, but their arch rivals Toyota were soon on the attack. In the midfield in Hypercar though, trouble for the Action Express Cadillac. On the very first lap, a safety car would be scrambled after a heavy crash. Driver Jack Aitken dragging the wreckage back to the pits after losing control on the damp.
Settle down in about 25 hours.
So down the Mulsanne straight then they come for the first time, and you can see everybody on their toes looking for track position side by side for the lead, and Julian Andlau goes through into the first chicane round the outside. So Cadillac led for about a quarter of the lap, but here Peter Dunbrett, Julian Andlau is on a mission to clear that LMP2 car straight away. Job done.
He's done it, and he has an opportunity now to stretch this advantage. Couple of LMP2 cars between him and the nearest threat from behind as the other Hypercars battle behind.
With some very, very fierce
Patience. That was a big incident at the Tamburello chicane, with 4 cars having to be craned away, all heavily damaged, but thankfully the drivers were okay. And P3 for that matter as well. Giorgio Rodas held on to his lead in LMP2 Pro-Am, it would appear.
Further progress for Alex Quinn. He's now ahead of Paul Lafargue, the last runner in the LMP2 class.
I don't really think it's an overtaking opportunity, turn 3. Maybe on from class to class, but actually you really need to have a big...
Irish-German film star have been trying to avoid running wide and exceeding track limits, but lifting off while turning hard merely spat him across the road into the wall and into retirement. The car is 5 seconds exactly ahead of teammate Nick Nielsen, and that's a 5-second margin. And Nielsen in second place is 9 seconds ahead of the battle for third, which is Kevin Magnussen, Ferdy Habsburg, Rene Rast. Now,
From his perspective, it's hard to make that judgment as well, because if Hansen had a terrible run through traffic and got picked up loads of marbles in his tyres, you will be slower.
Stay focused on traffic to come. Stay focused. As soon as we are close, we can come.
Here comes Ollie Gray on the bootlet of Pedro Perino's green and white Inter Europol competition car. He's certainly got alongside. He has the ideal racing line as well, down towards Tamburello. Ferrari moving across is not particularly helpful of Riccardo Agostini.
There is a 4-way shuffle that has just about worked for the number 10 car. Still in the hands of Ryan Cullen, by the way, so Ryan's in spirited form.
You'll see a replay of that. This is what happened. Well, let's see on board. So
he tagged the McLaren.
Does he tag the McLaren, or does he just lose the rear? Yep, gets hit.
Yeah,
Well, it is.
Hansen's off in the gravel.
Shows how much he was pushing to try and keep Collado at bay. That was complete driver error. I don't think another car was involved there.
Was it that LMP2 car that was being flashed by the GT car?
Now Jonas Reed and Ollie Gray arriving on the scene. So not a moment's peace for Matthias Kaiser. And has he pushed his tyres a bit too hard, as now Ollie Gray's going to try a slightly unconventional pass on Jonas Reed around the outside at Variante Alta. And you don't often see that.
From BDS Panis Racing, fending off the 47. Bollet basically got at the inside, and I think has got second place there.
So Bollet Bashi, we reckon, now up to second place.
He is.
Yeah, in the 24 Nielsen racing car, and ahead of CLX's Orica.
51 leads after it seemed like being caught out horrendously by the safety car. 51 leads, 50 in second place. It is